I'm aware the absurdity of the title may cause you to be a little bit jarred by what I'm about to say, but my femboy loving grandfather is now homeless on the streets. Now, I'm not going to ask for money from you guys or anything of that variety. I'm not doing that. Let me explain why the whole situation happened and why this is clearly his fault. I'm so upset by this man, and it's actually baffling me. So, a while back, let me explain the start. Let's just start from the beginning. How do we do that? Hi guys, I'm Saros. Pleasure to see you here. Maybe you haven't seen me before. A while back, many moons ago, I was at my grandfather's house. Now, we were watching YouTube on the Wii. Now, I have a little bit of a homebrew on my Wii that allows me to use YouTube on my Wii. So, we were just watching it, and we were on my YouTube recommendations, and he saw a femboy dancing compilation. And he said, "What's that? What's that right there? I've never seen that before." I said, "What?" He said, "Femboy. Is that like a tomboy, a tom girl? What is that? What is that going on there?" And I said, "Well, let me show you." We watched, a lot of femboy compilations of them dancing. He was enamored. He said, "I can just have these?" I said, "I presume so. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know where you find them." So he did his own research. He did his own research and found Fat Life, and he found Grinder, and he found a specific way on Tinder where you can find them, and on Grind. He just found a way you could do it on specific apps. I don't know his method. His method is lots. I didn't know what he was doing, but he found his own method. After that, he said, I got me a roster. A roster. Ooh. I was excited for him. I was over the moon. He said, "Yeah, I just like him. It's just nice. You know, I learned how to tell him about enemas." I said, "Okay, I read a lot of information there. Thank you very much, Granddad." He said, "Yeah, you know, they gotta have a fibrous diet." I said, "Okay, thank you for letting me know they have to have a fibrous diet." That's such powerful information to know about the femboys that you are, I assume, cracking. Oh, so many of them. You know, Monday night, Raw. Ooh, Monday night. Didn't realize we were going John Cena, Attitude Era, The Rock, Brahma Bull with it. I didn't realize we were giving the people's elbow to all these femboys. It was nuts. Little known fact that I didn't know was that these femboys were using him for money all the time. Now, my grandfather, very wealthy man, just wildly wealthy, so much money just exuding out of his life, out of his soul, out of his body, just so much money just coming out of this man. He kept it all to himself. Very selfish man. He had achieved retirement twice because he had been working two jobs, so he retired from both places at once, and he had accumulated, I believe, $8.8 million just from his retirement and his investments. Now, he was relying on passive income in order to make sure the tenure of the later years of his life was phenomenal. But, however, and I say this deeply howeverly, that was not going to work for him at all. And not going to work because from the 8.8 million, I remember I saw his bank account and he was at 20,000. Now, to lose that much money, you'd have to be a master gambler. Maybe you're just doing blackjack hands and you don't even care about winning or losing. You're just tossing money out into a fire. You would have to be burning money like you're in Germany before Adolf took over. It's just wasting money for the love of the game. Back in the day, it was actually more profitable to burn money than coal back in the day because it was cheaper to burn whole dollar bills than actually buy the coal. That's what they had to do back in the day. Witnessing his massive drop in funds, I said, "What's happening?" He said, "Well, I've been finding more femboys, and it's been really bad for me because I just can't resist them." Now, I obviously didn't know what was really going on, and then I made a video about it. I talked about it, made a video about it, bada bing, bada boom, and you guys, you people, found him. You guys scoured the internet, figured out my information to figure out where he was, and you guys just attacked viciously. So now he had a bunch of information about him that he just didn't know what was going on, and he was just getting a bunch of femboy. He just thought life was good for him, and that was horrifying. So horrifying for him. Oh my god. It was scary because when he was homeless, femboy polycule ended up adopting him into their house. So, bada bing, bada boom, slapply see, slapply goom, he ends up just living in the basement there, and the last of his money, whatever he was doing, was just being wasted. He sold his assets, ended up selling his house to pay the femboy stuff because he was so obsessed just with getting his schmeckelgum glipply going. That's what he was doing. He was getting his glippled klibbly glibby. That's what's happening. And I said, you gotta stop getting your gibbly going, your giddly bits, your jibbly bits getting tibble got by these femboys goobly lips. It was crazy. I didn't know what was going on. I just assumed that he was fine. Lo and behold, I discovered a few days ago, this man is wildly homeless. Now, how did I discover this? How did this happen? Now, here goes a fun little bit of information. My grandmother and them divorced. He had been begging my grandmother to live, to get him back in his good grace, to get him back in good grace with my grandmother. So I was just thinking, oh, well, maybe he just misses her so much and maybe he's going to change the man. Nope. Not even slightly. Not even a little bit. Not even a tiny smidgen. That's not even close to what happened. What happened is that he is wildly homeless, and my grandmother just aired him out on Facebook. Oh my God. I'm not going to show you the post because I don't want anybody going to try to find the specific wording, because you can search wording on Facebook now. But I will summarize the Facebook post to the best of my ability. My ex-husband is a piece of human garbage and deserves nothing good from this life. I hate him with every capacity of my soul, and he deserves death, if I could be so bold to say. Now, he is on the streets begging for money on the side of the highway like he deserves, like the filthy mongrel rat he is. May he rest in peace. I wish nothing good for him. Now, is my granddad a good person? No. I don't know what to tell you. Like, he's not like a great good person. He just likes femboys. Brother is an addict, is really the best way I can describe it. He's addicted to it. He's addicted to the pussy power is what he is. The grip of the sphincter really clutches him up is really what's happening there. That's honestly what we have going on in this situation. So I don't feel bad about what's happening. Now, why do I not feel bad? You're his grandson. You should help him out in some capacity, and you should feel bad about what's going on. No, this man has done horrible things. Just horrible things his whole life. He's beaten people within an inch of their lives. He was wildly abusive to my grandmother. Was every way, mentally, physically, provocatively abusive, every single way abusive you could possibly have. The reason I have so many aunts and uncles was not because they loved each other so much. No, it was for other reasons. It was bad. Horribly bad. This man is addicted to using his phallic member to direct and dominate. And now that he's weaker and old, and you may be thinking, oh, well, he's weak and old, he can't really do much with. No, he's still a threat. He's still a wild threat of a human being. You can't really change that. Like, if you've never changed throughout your entire life, just by getting old doesn't give you the ability to get, forgiveness. I think of it like, what did a Christian say? Said, God said everyone deserves forgiveness, but it's not your job to give everyone forgiveness. Something like that. It was something of that variety. It was crazy. It was a little bit like that. My mental state at this exact moment is not surprised or shocked. I knew it would eventually get to that. To the femboys that found him through my Instagram video, or maybe you found him through my Facebook video, or maybe you found him through my YouTube video or my shorts. Good job. I hope you have the money that you so desire. And to all the people that somehow drained him of 8.8 million, I hope that money is a stimulus and boon to the economy in some way. I'm not quite sure what exactly happened, but hey, we are now all connected as a family unit. You guys are all invited to the cookout. You're all invited to at least my cookout personally, not the black cookout, just my cookout specifically, so that I can question you and figure out what evil went through your soul and body. Maybe you guys were karma. Maybe I'm thinking about this the wrong way. Maybe you guys were the Metatron, the voice of God. Maybe you're a throne, which is the seat of God. Maybe you are the Sandalphon, which is the body of God. Maybe you're some piece of the puzzle that I can't possibly fathom that have actively. Maybe you're Michael. Maybe you're Raphael. Maybe you itself are Uriel, I imagine. Maybe you are just some angelic entity, a seraphim, in the truest, highest order of the word, actively giving deep things. You are Gabriel, telling me the message to my sleep to tell me all these things about the evils that my grandfather had wrought inside of my soul, body, mind, and spirit. Now, is this stressing me out? No, this is actually the best news I've heard in many days. This might be the best news I've heard in a while. I'm very excited about this, to be quite honest with you. So I'm actually happy about all this. This is some of the best news I've heard you know, I've heard have some pretty bad news happen in the past few weeks. Bad news been happening over and over again, just garbage news. But I'm very happy that, you know, this is happening, because we're now getting rid of a person who I don't respect or like in any capacity. I just hung out with my grandfather because by virtue we share the same blood. But now I suppose that he's getting karmic justice. The duty of the citizens of the earth are actively culminating. The earth is actually choosing to have its entire vendetta against one man, and that's pretty cool. That's pretty nice. If you made it this far in the video, I guess, let me think. Comment Blibly. However you think Blibly is spelt, just comment Blibly. Would like to see how many people made it this far in the video. I'm trying to do a gauge here. It doesn't really tell me a YouTube metrics how many people made it this far, but just comment Blibly. Well, let me know your thoughts about this situation. So airing out my family stuff is kind of fun right now because, man, here goes the fun part, right? It's actually kind of cool. My family, whenever I make a video like this, some members of my family will watch the videos and say, hey, you shouldn't be talking about the family like this. This doesn't seem healthy or safe. We might disown you. And then I say, do it then. And then they say, no, we're not going to disown you. It's just strange. I'm like, these guys don't know you people. You are a faceless, and they're not going to research or check you out or anything like that, right? I mean, they researched my grandfather because femboys are ruthless, but they're not going to find you people. Who cares? Do better. And also, you guys shouldn't have messed me up in my youth. Now I have a platform. See, I used to talk about this stuff to everybody around me, right? I used to say, man, it's so horrible in my household. My family's treating me bad. And they wouldn't care. But now that everyone knows, well, now they care. Welcome to the real world. Shouldn't have abused me when I was younger. Shouldn't have abandoned me as soon as I was born. Then I had to find you at 8 years old. Shouldn't have had all that stuff happen. Anyways, welcome to the real world. Welcome to the consequences of your past actions. I am your karma now. Welcome to it. Anyways, bye.
I'm your Nick and night, be my Laurel, happy to try what you need. Your world, I love to live in it. I love the ride when you're free.